All right, then let's call it to order and let's do a roll call, please.
Certainly. Board Member Alexander.
Here.
Board Member O'Malley.
Here.
Board Member Sohi.
Here.
Vice Chairperson Ketchum.
Here.
Chairperson Harden.
Here.
All present.
Perfect. So let's start with the on the agenda with the consent calendar. Right. There we go. All right. So is there anybody any board members that want to pull an item from the consent calendar?
I move approval of the consent calendar.
Else is fine.
Second.
Do we need public comment on it?
Is there anyone in the public that would like to pull an agenda? Go ahead, Patricia, you take it away.
All right, then can I have a motion to approve the consent calendar? But Tom, we got a first, right?
Yes.
I will second.
Perfect. Roll call then.
You're on mute, Amanda.
Sorry about that. Board Member Alexander.
Yes.
Thank you. Board Member O'Malley.
Yes.
Board Member Sohi.
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Ketchum.
Yes.
Chairperson Harden.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Perfect. All right, let's move on to the discussion. We've got the Destination Management Services study session. And Terry, you're going to start with your oral presentation, correct?
Yes. So our study session today is to discuss the support needs of the TBID and for the board to provide direction to staff. To get started, there's going to be 3 oral presentations, one to review the former role of the Destination Management Service and one of the city services, and one reviewing our marketing services. All of this has been provided in the agenda packet, but this will be kind of a brief overview oral presentation. I'll give the first 2 and have Ashley give the marketing last, and then we can go from there. So with the Destination Consultant Services, the consultant in the past has worked as a destination manager to communicate and provide administrative support, including assuring direction of the AppBid Advisory Board that it's maintained from strategy to budgeting. They communicate with city staff, the lodging owners, the TBID board, and coordinate all the upcoming board meetings. They facilitate and manage agendas, staff reports, minutes, and the board meetings. They shepherd the budget spending and assure that they align with the TBID goals. They assist with record keeping. They follow and implement AppBid bylaws and Brown Act requirements. They work to schedule lodging owner meetings as needed when the term of a board member is up for renewal, or there's an immediate need to replace a board member. They manage and communicate information on event sponsorship opportunities. They manage event partnerships to assure that they're delivering 100% of what they've agreed to, and they facilitate them coming to our TBID board meetings to make sure that they're presenting and showing what they've done. They communicate leads from meeting planners and other tourism related information from Visit SlowCal. And also basically, if there's any kind of tour and travel that comes up where they're needed, we have worked to have them included depending on what that is. We haven't had that in quite a while, so we didn't have any of that in 2020, obviously. So that's kind of an overall of the Destination Consultant Services. For city staff coordination for TBID, the city works as a liaison for everyone with the TBID board, the lodging owners, the TBID consultants, both Verdon and Big Red Marketing in the past, and Visit SlowCal, plus event organizers. We continually communicate often with consultants and share the vision when opportunities come up, from event partnerships to marketing and sponsorship opportunities that align with the goals of the TBID and the city. So things like our Central Coast Craft Beer Festival or Wine Speak, those type of opportunities, we kind of coordinate that part of it, making sure that those things are being looked at or looked at again if it's Garagee's Festival and they haven't been with us for a while. We share and work closely on event partnerships and sponsorships created for both TBID and the city. And then where it makes sense, we share in the cost of promotional programs that can benefit both tourism and the city's marketing efforts. We also work alongside with both the consultants with Burden and Big Red to approve newsletters, the email newsletters that we do, the posts and takeovers on social media platforms to make sure the dates, et cetera, are accurate, as well as new businesses and events that are being promoted are included. We manage overall performance and comments from social media pages, including Visit Atascadero, and we assist with photos as needed too. If there's a new photo that needs to be provided, we provide it. The city sits on the Visit SlowCal Marketing Committee representing the destination. While this is specific to tourism, being on that marketing committee, I'm able to leverage city's marketing efforts when it makes sense and be a point person for both. Some examples of this include Savor San Diego, Arrivalist, where we both shared in that expense. Google My Business is another one, and the most recent events and festival strategy, where both areas are going to benefit from that. I've also served as the point person at the city for Visit SlowCal, from arranging fam trips to filming requests and making sure all requests are fulfilled. I work in tandem with Ashley of Burden on that as well. And then I work with the destination consultants to review and approve monthly agendas, make additions where necessary, include things that we've talked about that might be missing on the agenda, and develop staff reports where needed. I have assisted them in the past with budget reporting, short-term rental requests, and assisting with scheduling of lodging on our meetings when the term of a board member is up. And then combined with our city manager office, the ongoing administrative support, that's that bullet pointed list in the recap of what the city has been providing, has everything on it from agendas being posted and published, record keeping, assistance with website files and archives, legal ads, oaths of office, training, and Form 700. And in addition to this, that's outside of my role, finance, who provides a monthly expense summary and budget summary and TOT revenue update that we make sure gets in the agenda every month. So that's in a nutshell, city. And then I'd like to introduce Ashley of Burden Marketing to talk about the marketing services that you all receive.
Hello, Ashley Akers from Burden Marketing. As you all know, we've been working with the Atascadero TBID for the last 6 years, and we really focus our efforts in 4 key areas. So one being overarching creative development for anything that is Visit Atascadero that is outward facing. So what I mean by that is more tourism outward, not county within the county, but our goal is to try to encourage visitors to come to the destination and stay in our hotels. So any types of campaigns that are outside of our county limits, that really is the focus and goal for us. We do everything from concepting, creative writing, copy, development for our assets as far as videography, photography. We also do our Visit Atascadero brochure. We manage the contract with Certified Folder for outreach whenever that is appropriate. Over in the past year, we decided to pull that this past year. We also developed the marketing plan that is in alignment with the overarching goals that the city is looking at. We look at that as well as what we're doing on a county level with Visit SlowCal. And so we always try to marry the two so that we can leverage as much as possible. So creatively, anything within that realm, we are your marketing arm that helps support those efforts. When it comes to owned media, so this is really our own channels, our website, we develop content, landing pages, we created new itineraries, anything that needs to be created that is in support of a campaign, we are really in charge of. However, Terry and the team really pulls together any events. So I just wanted to clarify, Terry and the team put together content for the website when it's specific to the events and other general updates. And we really focus on campaign development content that aligns with anything that we're running, in paid. So that's kind of on the website side. We also manage all of the social media channels. That's everything from content creation, asset creation for social specifically, all of our backstage passes, local business takeovers, social takeovers with our local business, any business coordination that we're doing. So we've handled all of that in the past. Any of the content creation for social channels, development, implementation, monitoring, responding to comments. Terry's also supported us in that effort as well here and there. So it's a really tag team approach. but we really own that social space for Atascadero as well. The other key piece is e-newsletter development, another owned media channel. So our e-newsletter that we are now relaunching this year on a monthly basis. So that's going, all the content, creative assets for that specific channel. We build it, proof it, review it, and send it and implement, and then report on that monthly. We also manage all of your media hard costs, so your paid hard costs. So that's your media plan, negotiations, contracts, any type of media that, again, is focused on our drive markets and potential any cooperative opportunities that are with SLOCAL, Central Coast Tourism Council, as well as Visit California. So we look at all of those opportunities on your behalf and present and bring those to the table with city staff and destination manager to provide that information to the board to make decisions. Any of the strategic planning, we're always involved in that to make sure that we're coming with the marketing lens, just knowing the background and the history with Atascadero. Any type of public relations effort, we have had a small portion of public relations within our contract, and really that is a reactive approach. So anything, again, with our budget, we want to be very efficient and effective. So if there's an opportunity that comes up with a potential FAM or media that comes into town, or any type of work that we're doing with our partners, we assist on your behalf. And then lastly, we do always provide monthly reporting. Quarterly, we've shifted that to a quarterly report this past year. And so anytime that there's kind of a strategic reference or any conversation that we need to have when it pertains to the marketing that we're doing for Atascadero, we're involved in those conversations throughout anything that comes up our way. Usually Terry and I are vetting that together. So to present a recommendation to the board. So that kind of lists out all the areas that our work and the contract work that we do on your behalf that Verdon handles and manages.
Very good. And I wanted to add one more thing too, so you all know this part. So with the website, visit atascadero.com, managing the events, that falls in my lap, as well as adding in the restaurants and the beverage places. And if a trail isn't linked to the right website, we're catching that here in city manager's office and working through to make sure all of those back end things are happening. And then when they get too techie, I'm calling Ashley. So to make sure we look good. So those things are definitely shared, because city and visit share. And then also, because we do have newcomers, the city's goal is come, stay, and enjoy. And then visit Atascadero's come, sleep, spend. So there's that clarity there for those of you that are new, because there is. And that's why we're joined at the hip so much. All right, I'm gonna throw it back to you, Patricia.
Perfect. Anybody from the board have any questions? No? Okay. So Tom, do you have any? Are you good?
Nope, I'm fine.
All right. Any public comment? All right. We'll close the public comment period, and then we can just do our board discussion. What's everyone kind of thinking?
It's a lot. It's a lot that Terry does.
Right?
Sorry, Patricia,
I
cut you off. Go for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we obviously have options, which I think is a good thing. And we know, I mean, I think I knew how much Terry did, but now it's just even like so much more than I think I realized. So thank you, Terry, first of all.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of evolved, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
all started so new, and you all can attest to that it definitely evolves. Where I think the biggest thing is on my end, I'm catching it all. And there's no way that these guys could ever catch everything. They're not sitting here at City Hall. They're not involved in all the events. They're not doing all these different things. That's impossible. So that's kind of where that role definitely plays a great part in helping coordinate people. Central Coast Craft Beer Festival came to be because of Dancing in the Streets and meeting the consortium group, the board, and them wanting to bring this event to us. And so those kind of things are not, they're not easy to come by, I think, and that's part of it. And we've worked really well together to coordinate these efforts. I think the biggest thing is you're really looking at an administrative role. You have a marketing agency that does a phenomenal job, and it's really a administrative services. So it's very specific to agendas and things like that. And I have ideas. If you want me to throw them out there, I can, but whatever is easier for you guys. We've just kind of been brainstorming different things here, and I'm happy to share.
I'd like to hear them.
Hear those ideas. I mean,
Yeah,
I
me
feel
too.
like you have your thumb on the pulse
Yeah.
really well. So, I mean, we should just continue to, I guess, kind of listen. Because
All ears.
yeah, that was gonna be my question, was like, outside of, like you're saying, like pretty much admin is what we're looking for. Outside of that admin work, was there kind of, a lot of duplication in effort? Like, okay. Well, I'll just
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, Emma, to answer that question, when I'm looking at Big Red's contract and I'm looking at the dollars that they put towards things, I think where the duplication comes in is what we already have in place with Verdun, and that is like tour and travel, for instance, IPW, those type of things, where, that's $9,000. And then you're looking at strategy at $7,500. That's $16,000 right there, roughly. That strategy is being done by the board that's telling, here's my goals, here's what we want to do, that have been identified by marketing, and marketing is saying, we're doing this. And then you're having somebody kind of manage that process, where we are all managing that process. The board is managing that, making sure that your goals are being met. So I think those are some of the things where, when you're looking at admin, if you pull those pieces off, they're already taken care of. Financial management, to me, it's like your admin has their budget, Ashley has her budget, and then there's the overarching city budget that we give you. Here's where the money, here's where you're at, here's what you have, here's what you spent, putting both together, but don't put them together, keep them separate. There's no financial, you don't need to do financial management. So there's some of that I think, as we've gone through this, there's savings that can be definitely looked at in this. So that's one thing, and just really taking a deep dive that I've done in all of it, just to kind of review everybody. Verdun's stuff is solid. So I'm in this, that's kind of the duplication is definitely happening on the admin side, but you still need that admin piece. So to give out options, I figure you got three.
Gary, before you go,
Yes.
I'd like to just make a few comments going into this. And again, it's a little bit of a rehash, but we are fortunate that I think we have more cooperation, collaboration in our city than any other city. We're small and a little behind. However, we've got the chamber and the tourism board and the city working very closely together. We get a lot more support. In fact, I know we get more support from City of Atascadero than any other organization gets in their cities. There's just not particularly a connection. So I think some of that technical support I'm thinking of the real computer technical side, that's a plus. I do think there's some potential for actually doing more by reshifting some of those funds. Like, there's a lot of duplication with Verdun, and I think they do a phenomenal job. If we took that 16,000 and kind of push it their way, I think we would just get even more. The other thing on the admin side, I'm concerned about the future. I think part of why it was hard this last year, and it was certainly not, I think Big Red did what they could do given the hand we were dealt, but it was a pandemic, and it's been very challenging, and we've had to turn on a dime several times. And my concern is, being on the County Health Commission and keeping an eye on what's coming, I don't think we're out of this yet. I think there's quite likely another wave when we hit winter again, and we'll see how things are going. The fact that even just because of an issue, the fair on a Monday cancels a concert on a Wednesday, it just shows you, reminds me when Terry and I got a call on a weekend saying we can't have live music downtown and we have to readapt. I think there's going to be more of that to come. So what I would, because of that and the uncertainties coming up, I personally would like to see a hybrid contract kind of with the city and with Verdun to take admin and this and kind of get through a year. I would certainly look to maybe doing a out for bid in a year, but I think there's so many uncertainties in front of us still for another year. And we've got some good resources. And I know what a process it is to go out to bid. We didn't have particularly good luck before with the uncertainties. You know, I just would strongly consider, well, can we do a hybrid and see how it goes for a year and then make the bigger decision. So that would be my only input. Take it away, Patricia.
I mean, I agree with some of what you're saying, Tom. I personally think that getting rid of those duplicate kind of roles and that money that we've got, there's far better ways to use it. Like you said, Tom, I think putting more of it into Verdun and things like that and getting creative, we can just continue to grow. So I think personally that's a good thing. Terry, you had a couple of additional ideas, right? Or did we?
Yeah, I mean, I have ideas. I know Ashley has some ideas too, so I'm not going to steal the ideas that she's shared with me. But one of the ideas obviously is going to RFP for, administrative services specifically. Second is contract with the city. The third is the option to form a 501c6 like Travel Paso, but I think we're kind of not in that boat unless you wanted to go to that area. And then I'll defer to Ashley. She had some good ideas. Kathy might have some good ideas as well. So we invited Visit SoCal so they could kind of give us a little bit of what might be out there that we're not aware of. So I'll turn it over to you, Ash.
Yeah. So we work with a handful of destinations, and a lot of destinations are set up very differently. And what we're seeing is the admin component of what your needs are can be definitely contracted out. So if you, for example, I sit on and serve on Central Coast Tourism Council, and it's a volunteer regional council, and we have a contract with an admin role. Her name is Christine, and she specifically does the admin duties as in creation of the meetings, the agenda, staff report, takes minutes, sends that out, like those specific admin duties. And she's not doing the marketing, that's really left to our subcommittees. It's really specific contractual duties. And so we thought that could be a direction that we might want to look into, since, our team's really managing the marketing side, and Terry, working with Terry in making sure that everything we do on your behalf is, double checked and making sure that, everything is approved. But really, correct me if I'm wrong, Terry, that's the core thing that we need done, is those admin duties, as well as, the budget management. The city provides the budget, we provide the budget, but there's, obviously we want clarification, checks and balances on that. But if that is really the core needs, there's services out there. So a service like working with a contractor, in that sense, there's another contractor here locally that we've talked to that potentially could find a solution that does this exact thing for some local areas in our community or in our county. So that could be an option. Some of the duties that were listed, for example, some of the website updates, the travel, we've done that already on your behalf. We have experience in that. We do that quite often. Happy to take that on for Atascadero. That's not a problem. So I do see some alignment in supporting Atascadero and whatever those needs are, but the contractor is definitely a solution that you could look into. We've seen it be effective.
Thank you.
Let me ask this. Is there a way that we can price it out and see what the cost of that would be, or versus we'll do that first and then see if the other option of going, partnering with the city and seeing if that route would be better? Like, I don't know if we can play all of the hands and see which one works out better.
If we go to RFP, can we still go with the city in the end if we decided not to go with one of those options?
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Minimum on RFP or max on RFP, or can we just reach out and get estimates from some contractors?
Yeah.
I'm going to defer to Laura. on that one, because I think your RFP has to come from like Central Coast Tourism Council filling out an RFP, as well as Cheryl Cumming, if she's the one, she'd have to fill out an RFP because it's an administrative services specific RFP. But Laura, do we have to do that? Can we get some estimates and not have to RFP just to get an idea?
Well, you can't really with purchasing rules, we can't really price shop. So we do have to you have to go through the process. I mean, without doing an RFP, you can do an RFQ just to see who's out there and what qualifications they have, but you still have to do the process because otherwise with purchasing policy, it's like we're price shopping.
Okay, so RFQ doesn't sound as
well. An RFQ is just a request. Yeah, an RFQ is just really a request for qualifications. So you're wanting to, you know, who's out there who has this, so that you can then determine. But it's still an involved process. So an RFP is usually good when you know what it is that you're wanting. And you have that, which I think in this case, that's where you guys will get to, is figuring out what you know exactly that it is that you want. And then you put that out there so that, like Ashley was mentioning, contractors who can provide solutions can respond and say, yeah, we can do everything that you're asking. And this is the price we can do it for.
And Laura, that's not specific. And the reason why I'm asking this question, like, it has to be an individual person that goes after the RFP. I've seen, so for example, like in AG, we have the South County Chamber is this admin role. So the chamber is a contractor with the city to conduct this admin role. If Atascadero Chamber was interested, could they also apply or respond to the RFQ?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be any individual person. It's just whoever wants to respond to the RF. Or in this instance, it'll likely be an RFP, but whoever thinks that they want to take on something like that and want to respond and answer the questions and provide the, you know, statement of work and that type of stuff, then yeah, that, like, it could be the chamber, it could be a consulting firm, it could be an individual person, it could be a whole range of people who respond to that.
Okay.
Well, let me ask, put it in the form of a question, then the answer I think there is, but do we know exactly what we want to ask for? We're going to get 3 months for free from the city to basically do the administrative function. But in parallel to that, it's not like we're going to do that 3 months and then go out for an RFP. We need to go out for an RFP like right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we could define exactly what we need. There's some advantage of having the experience of letting the city sort that out of here's what the administrative duties are. And we say, no, we need more, or no, we need less. And during that process, then extend the city's contract or create a contract short-term with the city for maybe even 3 months, 6 months. But then we do an RFP and now you know exactly what you want. And so I'm just thinking, I don't know that we could define quickly enough exactly what we want and then kind of be locked into something for maybe a year versus using the 3 months freebie to gain some experience and then write up our request for proposal and going out. And so that might be another hybrid possibility.
Didn't the city before Big Red was doing a lot of that admin work? Wasn't the city kind of doing a lot of that for us in the beginning, if I recall?
Yeah, it was June 13th of 2013, I guess, when TBID was established, and Marcia Torgerson was on your TBID until I came in about mid-May 2015. So there was some time in there, but if you're going back, I believe it was a promotions committee, then became a TBID type of thing.
So Terry, are those duties already written up somewhere back in 2013, 2015, to where we could start working off of that and add to it of what's?
I could definitely look back into that. That's not a problem. I think One of the suggestions I was going to say is an ad hoc, and have an ad hoc RFP team, if you will, and then go through that process that way and come up with kind of like what the RFP would look like on what you would want to do, or RFQ, whatever it is, and then come to the August 18th TBID meeting and we review it, and then determine where you're going to go from there. If you're going to publish something like that, then we publish it. We have the candidates submit what their RFQ is. You come back to the September 15th meeting with TBID, because it's all city at that point. You got your 3 months, July, August, September. And then we make a decision type of thing, but ad hoc it out versus another special meeting before the August 18th TBID meeting.
I think that's a better
Mhm.
idea, because one, I don't think anything from that far back in the past, let alone even recent past, has a lot of value, because it's changed so much. Even just, and quite frankly, that's the thing, is the rules change so much. Like Laura points out, even RFP processes, there's a lot of governmental rules in place that you have to make sure you're dealing with someone that, understands some of that. So I like the ad hoc idea. I think it's more important for the board to decide what do they want.
Yeah.
And I think they could talk to, I'd really like to hear from Kathy, the county end, but I think we could talk to other folks in similar organizations and focus just on the admin component. I think that's a good idea.
And I think too, just to add to that, Tom, and then I want to hear from Kathy too, we've come a long way. To go back and look at what we did, we blow your mind. Today, it's like, oh my gosh, all the stuff that we've been doing is so much more than what we did. So I think that's going to be apples to oranges, but that's something you can research in an ad hoc. So you can kind of see where we've been, where we've gone to, and all of that.
I would, from business locale's perspective, I think you're on the right path. I think the world of marketing has changed so much. Tourism marketing has changed so much and will continue to fluctuate moving into the future, and to have that opportunity now, which is really to create what you need to continue to grow, put your best foot forward. I would take that moment, to Terry's point, and look at what are the things that you anticipate coming up. I mean, if you look at just some of the work we're doing on the DEI stuff and on the special events and festival strategy, and how do we pull people together for that. So I think there's a lot of opportunity where you can lean into things that in the past you haven't, but they take some admin work, so really the focus could be you need somebody to help wrangle all of those pieces, while for DIN and in the city, you're continuing to do the things they do. So I think, from my perspective, this is the right conversation to be having. And just putting something out to RFP right now before you're sure what you need probably is not the best use of your time, effort, and energy, or your money. And so I think taking a few minutes to step back and say, what is it that you really need? What are the things we anticipate coming up? We have a business and marketing plan that is complete for Visits Locale, so we can certainly, Terry and Ashley have both seen that, and Emma has seen that as well. So we can certainly share where we're going from a tourism perspective, and that'll help also maybe bring some focus on, here are some things that are coming up, and here's the help you're going to need to be on board with those. So I think there's good timing and a good process laid out.
So I agree. I think for me personally, I think an ad hoc is the way to go, so we can kind of deep dive into what we need and then come back to next month's meeting a little more educated, I guess is the way to say it. I don't know about you guys, but that's kind of where I'm leaning.
Having another special meeting August 3rd, or is this the only one? Was there a secondary special meeting before our next board meeting?
You had the option to do one, but I think pulling that together might be a little trickier to do. So if we can accommodate that in this meeting, and then if it's an ad hoc and that's a better use of everyone's time, we can always call a special meeting. I think that's pretty straightforward, but if we can kind of really do our homework, the ad hoc side, I'm happy to help with that, whoever wants to commit to that. And then come back to the August 18th TBID meeting to really discuss, have that be one of the only things on the agenda. I think that would be a good way to go.
That sounds good to me too. I'm in favor of the ad hoc, and if we don't need to have a special meeting and can present at the board meeting, I agree. I agree with Tom's concern too of, you know, what's going to happen in the next few months. And it would be awful to have someone that we team up with and then right away, like, hey, we got to pull back. That kind of makes me nervous too. And to have these 3 months with the city, again, getting back into it and gaining that experience and knowing exactly how it works, I agree would be a huge benefit.
Well, I think where we are, it's the chairperson, which is now Patricia, thank you, Lord, is needs to appoint a couple of folks, maybe looking for volunteers. Patricia, I really think you should be one of the two.
I agree. I would like to be on it. Does anybody else have any interest in being on the ad hoc?
I'll join.
Excellent choice. Excellent choice. Amr and I completely support that. I probably do too.
Perfect. So then Karina and I can get together, work with Terry and do all that and come back to the next month's meetings with, you know, a lot
Oh, yeah, it's great. I think you bring a fresh perspective. You've had enough experience. So I think that's perfect.
Okay, I would think we have to make a motion, right?
No, it's an ad hoc committee.
Ad hoc, we don't. That's right. I knew that all these years. We've ad hoc'd enough. Okay.
See, Laura, what we have to put up with.
Yeah.
I do, but you guys all do such a good job together.
Thank you.
We
All
do.
right.
Perfect. So we don't need a motion. Do we need anybody else have any other concerns or comments or questions that we need to go over or anything you guys want to throw out?
No, I just want to one more time, for me, and probably Amr appreciates the Dina too, but I think this is probably the best TBID board we've ever had in history. And I'm really glad to see especially Karina and Patricia stepping in. We haven't had meetings where all 5 of us have been here multiple times in a row, let alone your enthusiasm and willingness to jump in. Some of us are looking a little tired. I don't know about Amr, but I am. Go ahead.
I said, so am I.
Yeah. Well, see, yeah, we can't see your face, but ours aren't looking very good. So thank you all. I think it's a great board.
I agree, Tom. And I'm excited. I mean, like, fresh perspectives, you know, great attendance, energy. I mean, it's what we've been wanting for a while. So thanks, Karina and Patricia. And I mean, I'm excited for the opportunities.
Perfect.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you for electing me. Thank you for
Yes.
giving me a chance.
We're excited to do this all together. I think it's going to be a good opportunity for everyone.
Great.
Perfect. Well, if there's no other final comments, I think we can adjourn, right? That's
Yes.
it?
And I would just ask Terry to do that administrative duty just to make sure we know what's what on the agenda. Could you make sure what meetings we're not doing and what ones we are?
Yeah, he'll keep us all straight, Terry.
I'll keep you straight. I mean, our next meeting is August 18th. So I will be coordinating with Patricia on that and also available for the ad hoc to get both Patricia and Karina together to get you what you need and meet and that sort of thing. So I'm here.
Perfect. All right. Then I think that's it. I think we can adjourn.
Very good.
Thank you, Kathy, also for your input.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy, and
Yep,
everyone.
sure, happy to help.
Appreciate it.
And Laura,
Bye,
it's
everyone.
always
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
Everyone,
Thank you.
August.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, all. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.